removing people from the rolls.
Right.
Can you explain why that is necessary? And people say, oh, you're going to strike people off that shouldn't be struck. So would you just talk about that?
So we update the voter rolls on a constant basis, on a regular basis. Many people don't realize that 13% of all Georgians move every year. And so you want to make sure that people update the voter rolls so that we have their accurate address. So people move sometimes out of the precinct, sometimes they move out of state. And as you know, when people move out of state, they don't get permission from anyone, and they don't let us know that they've moved out of state. So we want to make sure we have accurate voter rolls.
Does this happen on a regular basis?
It happens on a regular basis. And so last year, when we passed House Bill 316, what we did is we extended that for a period of an additional 2 years. And then we send people notices. And so when we send you a notice, we say, we've noticed that you haven't been voting in several elections. Now it's been several years now. And can you confirm that you still live here? If it comes back non-deliverable, then we have to assume that they've moved and don't have a forwarding address. And so we just worry on people, and if they come back and say, oh, I'm still here, thanks for doing that, then they're just taking from potential inactive back into inactive status.
Last time you did this, did you remove people who should not have?
Well, that was prior to me being part of it, so I'm now looking at what we have new procedures in place. I've just been in office now for, I guess, 10 to 11 months now. But we want to make sure that we give people written notice, and that's a new procedure that we put in place because of House Bill 316. And also we gave people 2 additional years because we want to make sure that their voter rolls are accurate at the end of the day.
There was a controversy over voting machines here in Clark County and Winterville, and Ms. Sosby told the county commission recently that those machines are under quarantine pending, I presume, some sort of investigation as to whether something went wrong or not. Can you comment on that?
Well, all I can say is that we're having elections right now with Winterville. We'll have finish up the election with the DR machines that are using. What happened, to prior before I took office, I really can't comment on because I don't have all the information and details. That's something that people have discussed. But
well, it's your job to investigate if anything went wrong.
And if it's under investigation, then we really can't comment at that time. But we're excited about the reason I'm here today is really talk about the new machines that we have coming in, which is going to have a paper ballot. And I think that's going to give people that confidence that they're going to have a paper ballot, they're going to be able to verify who they voted for. And for the first time, next spring, for the first time in 18 years, we'll actually be able to do physical recounts on those close elections that we have.
Now, how will you do those recounts? How does that
That'll
work?
Be pulling out the ballots that are in the ballot box and just
the paper
ballots and laying them out on the table and going through it, one for Bob, one for Mary, one for Bob, one for Mary. And keep on going through that to verify that whoever won the election truly did win the election. And that's the advantage of a physical recount when your elections are within that 0.5%. But for every election, we'll be able to start doing what's called an audit. And what we'll do is we'll do a scientific sampling, a mathematical sample, to verify what the results were. So on election night, if election was reported to be a 52-48 race, a 60-40 race, whatever that could be, we'll be able to audit that election and be able to verify that the winner that was reported truly did win and the loser that was reported to have lost that race truly did lose. And we think that gives people that confidence. They have a paper ballot, they can verify their vote before they cast it. We now can do a physical recount, and we can now audit the election with, those paper ballots.
Well, two things about that. How is the paper ballot created? Do I mark on it, or is it a printout of what I've done in the machine?
It'll be a touchscreen technology. So the new voting system, I like to say that it's similar but different. So people for the last 17 years have been showing up with the existing DRE machines with touchscreen technology. So you'll still have that touchscreen technology to make your selections. But then after you've made all your selections, and you can scroll up, scroll down to make sure you've got that right, and you press that button, it will now be to print out your ballot. And when it prints out that ballot, you can then review your ballot before you've cast it. And once you've verified you've got everything right, Then you can take 5 or 6 steps over to the ballot scanner. You put it on the ballot scanner, and that's when the ballot scanner will count your ballot, but actually take an electronic copy, a picture of it, just like you would in your office with your scanners, but then it drops into a ballot box. And that's why when I say it drops into the ballot box, we're going to do physical recounts.
Finally, on the audit, is that basically what you said, a random sample?
Yeah, it'd be a random sample of a certain size. It's all mathematically based, so that you can make sure that you pick the right sampling size. So,
and in that sample, you go back and count the paper ballots?
Exactly, you count the paper
Okay.
ballots, yeah.
Mhm.
And so we're pulling those ones out and sampling them. And what we want to see is confluence with the results reported on election
Mhm.
night. And once we get that confluence, then we feel good. We did the right for this sample size, we got confluence. Now, if we didn't get confluence, all of a sudden we got divergence, then we would keep on pulling out ballots, keep on pulling out ballots. And if we never got divergence, we would do, in effect, be a recount for that election. And that's what's really exciting, because I think people on both sides of the aisle know that we're going to really be able to ascertain who the winner really was, who the loser really was. And I understand in this polarized and contentious times that half the people will be happy and half the people will be sad. At the end of the day, we want 100% of the people to know we got the results right. And that's what these people that are doing the election process, that's what they're trying to do. They're just trying to be right down the line to make sure we get the election process right.
And you have confidence that this new
Absolutely.
system will do that?
Well, this system, Dominion Voting Systems, is the second largest vendor out there. This system is actually currently being used in Cook County, which is the Chicago area that has 8.4 million people. We have 10.5 million people, so this is a large-scale system. Seems to be, they're pleased up there, and that, I think we'd have to say that is, probably a blue area. Georgia is, I'd say, more of a purple area, and so the machine itself just wants to get the right results, and that's what our job as election officials, just to get, make sure it's accurately counted, that we've secured your vote.
I'm wandering off a little bit here, but Cook is their largest system at this time, and Georgia will be?
Georgia will be, because we are one of the only, if not the only state that does a uniform system for the entire state. Generally, what happens is most states, when they pass laws like House Bill 316, it's a top-down, it's an unfunded state mandate, and say you shall update the machines, but we're not paying for it. And so then the counties are kind of, grab bag whatever they want to use within those constraints of their law. In Georgia, when Secretary of State Kathy Cox was Secretary of State, that's when Georgia made, I believe, a very wise decision to say we want a uniform system for the entire state of Georgia. And that's when the General Assembly, I believe, wisely said, we will fund that. And that's what they did last year, earlier this year, with House Bill 316.
So, thanks.
Thanks so much.
Sure.
Appreciate it.